Welcome to those who are joining. Welcome to those who are joining. Thank you for joining. Please, can you help me to share the live so we can get about 10 people on, then we can start talking. There is a lot that I would like us to share today. Thank you for joining live. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the stream. I have a couple of things I would like to share with us today. I have a list of things that I would like to talk about. And I'm sharing this based on the trends in the past week, things that have happened in the past week. So let's share the live so we can have some other people join. When we have 10 people, we can start talking. When we have about 10 people, while we're waiting for people to join, if you have a question or if you have something to share with us, the comment section is open. The comment section is open, so we can start communicating in the comment section. Okay, guys, so welcome to the stream. Let me know those who are watching me. You just say something in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from. I need to get water. Thank you for joining. Let me just know where you're watching from. Welcome. So we have Ubetu. Hello. We have Fahad Ansari. Okay, we have 11 people who are on board now. Please let me know where you're watching me from. Just type your country in the comment section. Malawi. So we have Noni is watching from Malawi. Please just type your country in the comment section. Let's see how many countries are on board, and let's see how many people we have from different countries. Let's see the most number of countries that we have on board. So we have Malawi, we have Cabo Verde. I'm sure this is Cape Verde. We have Leonardo from Cape Verde, and we have from Pakistan. We have Farhad. We also have Arena from Pakistan. We have Sophie from Zambia, and we have Faria from Bangladesh. So far, Pakistan is the most with I think 3 on board already. South Africa, yeah, I saw South Africa. That is Cielo. Okay, we have Cielo from South Africa. And if you're watching me, okay, we have Obeto from Ethiopia. Okay, thank you all for joining. And by the way, if you can hear my sound, please can you let me know if my sound is okay. I want to make sure that my sound is okay. My voice is okay. You can hear me. I have some little noise coming from the living room because my friends are there, but I hope that the noise is not much enough to disturb our conversation. So now that we have a couple of people, I already shared the list of things that we're going to be talking about. And I would like us to have this live session for 1 hour only. So I will not talk so much about some points. I'll just give an introduction and then we're going to go to the next point. So on my list, I have a couple of things that we'll talk about. Okay, my sound is okay. Gambia, we can hear you. Okay, Scholastica, thank you so much. Scholastica and Henry, we can hear you. And no needs here, the sound is okay. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so since the sound is okay, you can keep your questions or you can ask your questions as we move ahead. But I just want to follow the list of the things that I have to talk about so that I make sure that I don't miss anything. And by the way, I'm going to share the link. If someone wants to come on board, I'll tell you when to. But first of all, I'll share the link. This is the link. If someone wants to come on board, that is the link that you're going to use. That is the link that you're going to use. So we'll start by talking about, first of all, what is the situation in China currently? I know are most of you are not in. Let me ask my friend to lower the volume. Carlos, Carl, Carlos, Carl. I'm trying to ask him to take down the volume in the living room. Carl, I'm sure I have to call him. Just a moment, please. I don't want to leave. I'll just call him to take down the volume a little bit. Okay, thank you guys for joining. Please, if you're joining now, what? So if you're joining now, please can you just help me to share the live stream to your friends and invite them to join? Yeah, boy, I'll be lower volume. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, good. So we'll talk about the current situation in China. How is life in China? I know most of you might not be in China, but you'll be wondering like what's happening in China because when you're just concentrated on coming to China, you might not understand what's happening in China. And maybe you can see some of the things in the news, but I would like to give you guys an overview of what's happening in China right now, so that at least you will you will understand what's going on. So that's the first thing. We'll talk about the situation in China. Then the second thing we'll talk about the current procedure for students who want to come to China now. What are the things that you need to know? And what are some of the things that you need to consider while you're waiting? That's the first. So first we'll talk about the situation in China. Then second we'll talk about the process of returning to China because I see a lot of people are just confused. They're just asking questions here and there. I'll give like a rundown of the procedure of if you want to return to China now, what will happen based on your situation, based on your country, based on your embassy, and based on your university. Then also I'll also talk about the I also talk about one point about why foreigners are really leaving China now. This is going to be a very important point so that people will understand before they come to China. A lot is going on in China right now, and I believe that people need to know before they come to China so that when you come, you should already be aware of what you're coming to face. So, first of all, let's start by talking about the current situation in China, the current situation in China right now. I'll share my screen and show you guys something. Let me share my screen and see if I can show you something on my screen. Let me see if I can share my screen and show you something. Okay, so I don't know if you can see what I'm No, this is not what I wanted to share. Okay, wait. Um, okay, look at this. Let's look at this data here. We're going to see the current situation in China right now. I'll try to see if I can share it. This, okay, yeah, this is what I want to share. Okay, guys, so I'm sure you can see this data here. This is the current situation in China from today, the 19th. This was updated on July 29, and you can see that this added a number of record cases that are in China now, 109 cases. And you can see the different cities that are highly affected. You can see from Fujian, Shandong, Shanghai, Sichuan, Beijing. These are the main cities that are in the red zone right now in China. And you can also see that it was updated a few days ago, and there is already a drug that is domestically being used in treating COVID patients now in China. And another update that I want to share is that all of us already know about this one. That China has removed the PU letter, and it's no more a requirement to apply for visas. This was not only for Germany, but for so many other countries. Now you no more need a PU letter. And for those who are going to Jiangxi, you can see that this is already a city that is already in lockdown right now. Jiangxi had a 3 days lockdown. There's also another city that had an outbreak, Beihai City in Guangxi. We also have Shenzhen that ordered firms to implement a 7 day closed loop management. Closed loop management means that the workers will not go home. The workers will stay at their workplace and they're going to work from home. And another update says that China said that the party leaders must have been vaccinated with domestically made vaccine. Right now, vaccination in China is almost a thing. Everyone needs to get vaccinated. Another major update is about quarantine. We all know that before quarantine was 7 days, but right now they are seeing the possibilities of making quarantine to be 3 days. Please just keep your questions while I'm done with this, and then I'll go to take a few questions. You can type your questions, then after that, I'll go to look at the questions. Then this is another city that is also building makeshift hospitals. This is to tell you that China still have stuff on their table. Anhui province recorded 83 new cases. Mass testing in Tianjin. New rules for normalistic nucleic acid testing in Shanghai. Shanghai has been the epic center for a couple of months. Over the weekend, China COVID situation has worsened and new local outbreaks are spreading. Another of Langzhou, we have Chengdu and Shanghai, Xi'an. These are all cities that has been in the red zone for a couple of weeks now. Shanghai is carrying out rounds of testing in the local communities. Lanzhou in Gansu province. These are all updates that have been happening in the past week. So you see, a lot is happening in China nowadays. I know why I'm giving all these updates so that once we get into the details of what we're saying, you guys should understand. This is Anhui, this is Shanghai that started reopening cinemas on July 8th. So you see that it's up and down. Today there are cases, the city starts to you see now they say Shanghai started allowing dine in, which means that people could start going to restaurants. And Beijing kids are back in the classroom. Shenzhen shuts down the city district of Fujian. You see that some cities are opening up, some closing down. More cities cut quarantine time for international arrivals. You they started cutting down quarantine time for international arrivals. And Jilin City suspends public transport and carries out citywide testing. So you see, it's just all over the place, up and down. This city is closing down. This city is opening up. This city is going back to class. This city is going back to online. So you see that a lot is happening in in China. So these are the updated cases as of July 29. This data has not been updated as in for 1 or 2 days, but you can see that these are the registered confirmed cases now 100 cases, asymptomatic 455, and mild cases and serious cases are only 25, and so on. These are the number of risk areas. High risk areas are 770, and medium risk areas are this. So you see, you can go to check out this website. You can check this website, and you can get this update anytime you want. This is from China Daily. Okay, now so now you can see that is the situation, the current. Let me stop sharing this first. So you can see, guys, that is the current situation in China now. You can see that it's all down. The count, there is a difference between the policies in China and the Western policies. For example, 3 cases is enough for a city to be locked down. 2 cases is enough for the whole city to be shut down. But you can see in most Western countries, you can hear that there are 2,000 cases and people are moving around without masks. You can hear that there are 1,000 cases and people are just moving around without doing anything. But the policy in China is completely different. 1 case in the city can cause the whole city to be shut down. So before I continue, let me just go and answer a few questions so that I don't leave a lot of people hanging. Okay, before we go to the next point, we have Fahad pursuing geology from China University of Petroleum. Okay, thank you so much. And we have hey Roy, you really think that we can still return in September? Of course, with students are going to return in September. I'm very sure about this because the way the policies are going on right now, and the way we're seeing a lot of universities are sending emails, sending admission letters, sending JW202 form. I'm very sure that the probability to send students by September now is very high. Yeah, it's very high. Okay, let's see if I can answer a few questions before I go to my next talking point. Gambia, thank you so much for joining. We can hear you. Thank you. Okay, these are people that I've already heard them. Okay, now someone asked, quarantine 7 days in central and 3 days at home. Does home mean university dorm? Okay, let me say something. Let me say something as as far as this quarantine is concerned. Just 1 minute, guys. Let me say something. Yeah, boy, I beg that you put down voice more. I beg my joke in editing. I still get like that kind of 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so about quarantine, let me say something about quarantine. Quarantine days are always fluctuating, and it will all depend on the current situation, which means that they can say that quarantine now is 7 days, and based on the incubation period, because quarantine is given according to the incubation period of the current trend of the virus. Maybe this strand of the virus that is now, maybe the incubation period is shorter. The shorter the incubation period, the shorter the quarantine. So right now we know that quarantine is 7 days. Some cities take 7 plus 7, which means that 7 days of centralized quarantine and 7 days of home isolation. Home isolation means that you can go to your dormitory, you can go to your home, but you're not allowed to go out to the public. Centralized quarantine means that you will be locked in a hotel room or maybe in a centralized quarantine hospital or quarantine facility, and you are not allowed to go outside. That's the difference between centralized quarantine and home isolation. So right now, some cities are doing 7+7. Some cities are doing 7 days centralized quarantine and 3 days home isolation. But right now, we are hearing rumors that since the incubation timing of the virus is it's going down, maybe lesser. So some cities are doing lesser quarantine days, maybe only 3 days of centralized quarantine, and that's all. You don't have to do home isolation again. After the 3 days, you are going to be free. And right now, some universities are making arrangements to do the quarantine in the university dorms. Like some of my friends have told me that they are creating some space in some dormitories that students will be isolated or will be quarantined there, which means that different cities will have different different quarantine policies, and different universities will have different quarantine policies. So if I'm in Shanghai and you're in Guangzhou, we might have different policies. And if we both are in Shanghai, but in different universities, the universities will give different policies. And if you're lucky enough, maybe the university will ask you to be quarantined in the university for free. But if you're quarantined in a hotel, definitely you have to pay for your quarantine expenses. But if it's in the dormitory, then you're lucky because you will be in your university dormitory. Okay, let's just go to see everyone. I would like to talk oh, thank you so much. I'm fine. I'd like to respond to every single person before I go to my next talking point. Hello, bro. I received an email towards my willingness to return to China. Does it mean they will call us soon? I attend Beijing Institute of Technology. One of the things that I also want to talk about is this issue of receiving emails. There is the main point that I'll talk about today is, what does these emails mean? I'll talk about this exclusively. If you receive an email, what does it mean? And what are the steps after you receive an email? This is going to be a main point that we will talk about this. So I'll just keep to answer your question in the course of it. Let's move ahead. I'll answer this question as we move ahead. Once I answer everyone, then I'll go to the next talking point. In my country, a province which has less than 1,000 cases will be categorized as a green zone. A province in China has only 100 cases is already a red zone. Yes, that is the point. Okay, this is Chevlin Christian. This is something that I just talked about just now. Someone is saying that in his country, 1,000 cases is a green zone, but in China, 100 cases is a red zone. This is what I've just said just now, that you see that the policies in China are very different from the policies in other countries. In China, one case can cause a city in Wuhan was locked down because of 3 cases. So you can see how serious they take it. A city is completely shut down because of 3 cases, but in some countries, 1,000 cases is just normal. We can manage. We know how to go about it. But in China, 3, 4, 5 cases is a whole issue. So you guys need to understand the difference in the policies in China and the difference in the policies in other countries. And another case, let's see, I'll talk to everyone, then I go to the next point. What about Nanjing? Nanjing is doing well. I've not heard about any cases in Nanjing recently. Any updates on returning of new students? We'll talk about this at the end. If some students do not return between the end of August and September, what does that mean for us? Should we still have hope? We'll talk about this at the end of the live stream. I will talk about the situation of international students and the aspect of September or not at the end of the live stream. I'll answer this at the end of the live stream. Is there no more international flights and we receive the visa, then tickets are still damn expensive? Okay, about tickets, this is something that I really cannot talk much about, but just know that tickets will depend on the number of approved flights that are available. And right now, China keeps closing international flights every now and then. They approve 10 today. Tomorrow they disqualify 3. The next day they approve 4. The next day they cancel. That is, it's just up and down. It's not stable. Right now, most international flights have been canceled again. Some cancellation will start from tomorrow, 1st of August. Some flights will be canceled. And we hear that they're trying to approve more flights. So I don't really understand what's happening, because they're trying to approve flight. At the same time, they're canceling some flights. So the aviation authority is just trying to strike a balance. Okay, now I think I've almost talked to everyone. Bro, what about Beijing? Beijing is still also dancing. Beijing is not still balanced until now. Cases here and there. In India, daily more than 15,000 cases right now. Then also it's normal here. You see, someone is saying in India 15,000 cases and people think it's normal, but in China, 5 cases is a lockdown. 10 cases is worse. Someone says, Mr. Roy, thanks for everything you do. Please, I want to know your Twitter and Instagram handle so I can follow you across all platforms. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to share my handles on Twitter. I don't really, I follow people on Twitter, but I don't really post on Twitter. Instagram, I post about my personal. I don't really talk about this issue on other platforms as far as I talk on it on YouTube. If you follow me on Twitter, I just go to Twitter to get information. I follow important people. I follow people who matter, like government officials, embassies, big organizations, and some top officials, so that once they post important stuff on their handle, I can get it now. And then I want to concentrate on YouTube. This is my main social media platform. On Facebook, I mostly post about my personal life, or on TikTok, I do something very different, very crazy, like very different. So if you follow me, especially on TikTok, you're going to think I'm a different person, because what I post on TikTok and Facebook is completely different from what I post here. Sometimes I share some of my videos on YouTube, on Facebook, but not all the time. So I'm very active here. So if you follow me here, you can get everything that you need from here. Now let's go to our next one. What is the condition of Hefei? Okay, I don't have very specific details about Hefei, but I'd like to go to the next one. You're welcome. Thank you You're welcome, Sandeep. Okay, now let's talk about. This is one of the most important points that I want to talk about now. So, if you want to take notes, you can take note, because I also have to refer to something that I got. I also have to refer to something that I got from Twitter. I'm sure it's not on this phone. Okay, so I have to bring my other phone. Just a moment, guys. I'll bring my other phone. Okay, guys, so I'm back. Now I have something that I want to share with you guys. And I found this is like the process of what's happening with these emails that people are receiving. When you receive these emails, what does it mean? Where is that? Okay, here is it. All right, good. Now, students have been asking, like, when we receive the emails, what happens? When are we going to return to China? The first thing that that you should understand is that when you receive the emails, the university collects this data and sends it to the MOE, which is the Minister of Education. This is the first place where your information will go to. So when you receive the email, don't just think that maybe in a week or two you will get a letter to return. The university will send your names that you're willing to return based on your different years of registration and your different fields. They will send it to the Ministry of Education. Now, the Ministry of Education is where the JW202 forms are being printed, because remember, the JW202 forms is not provided by the university. The JW202 form comes from the Ministry of Education. It's not from the university. The university issues it out, but it's the Ministry of Education, that issues JW202 forms. The university only gives you the admission letter, but the Ministry of Education will give you the JW202 forms and the visa application form, because the JW202 form is like the visa application form. These are the two main important documents. So whatever the embassy will tell you is we need the JW202 form. It's not the university that issues. The university only gives it out, but this JW202 form comes from the Minister of Education. Now, the Minister of Education now will send your information to the Minister of External Affairs in China, which is called the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Some countries call it the Minister of External Affairs. Some countries call it the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Now, the MFA, which is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, if you're very close to Twitter, you always see the spokesperson of the Foreign Affairs. He's the person that has always been talking a lot about. That is the person that will talk about visa policies. If you get visa updates, it will come from the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So the MFA, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, these are the people that will say if the embassy can give visa or not, and which visa can the embassy give. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs is one of the most important ministries that link, because they are the ones that give information to the embassy that now you can give visas for this category, and for this category. I got information that from Afghanistan they've started granting student visas, which means that if you're from Afghanistan now, it's not based on your field, it's not based on your year. Anyone from Afghanistan right now, and I'm sure also from Egypt, I think Afghanistan and Egypt, they can just go to their ministry now. As long as they can pay their flight tickets, they can get their visas and they can return to China. So you see the process. The university gets your information. The university will send it to the Minister of Education, where your JW202 form will be printed and sent back to the university to post it to you. Now, the Minister of Education will send a list of the students to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will now send the list of the students to your embassy. So before you go to your embassy, they already have your name, they already have your list. Sometimes you don't know that when you get admission, the list of admitted students has already been sent to the embassy without even you knowing. So before you go to get visa, the embassy already knows that this person had admission from this university. So you see the process. So you see, it's not something, once the university sends that email and they collect all the data, don't expect the next email the next day or in 1 week or in 2 weeks or in two. It's something that can take maybe 1 month after you receive the email, at least 1 month for you to get something substantial. So once the university will evaluate, no, okay, right now we have 1,000 students who are coming back to my university, then they will tell the embassy, the Minister of Education, we are expecting 1,000 students, and they will say, okay, Minister of External of Foreign Affairs, this university is expecting 1,000 students. Now the Foreign Affairs Ministry now will talk now to the embassy that this student allowed to return. So you see, even the embassy does not know what will happen next. Even the university does not know what will happen next, because it's a chain. So sometimes if you send emails to your university and they cannot give you a fixed answer, don't blame them. I'm telling you guys, don't blame them, because they don't know. They don't know, because even the university president doesn't know, because they are not the ones to take the decision. And there's also another ministry that's very important that you guys might not even know, the Ministry of Health, because it's the Ministry of Health now that will evaluate the situation of the country, because they're the ones that know what's happening in the country. They're the ones that know what's happening in other countries, because the situation is about the health of the country. So you see that we have different ministries that are concerned. So you can send email to your university professor and he doesn't answer, and you think that maybe he doesn't like you, or he hates you, or he doesn't want you to come back to China. Or if you send email to your faculty secretary, all those secretaries, they don't know anything. They don't know what's happening. They just get orders from their bosses and say, send this email now, and they will send. So if you send them an email and they don't reply, don't blame them, please, because they don't even know what's happening. They're not sure of what will happen next, because the information will come from above, from one step to the next, before it reaches them. All what they have to do is just press the send email and it comes to you. They're not the ones to take the decision, but they have the right to update you on what's happening. We have received your emails. Please, when we get substantial information, we'll get back to you. Such emails, at least they can give you some hope. They can give you some peace of mind, because at least you know that someone has read your email and someone will come back to you. But once they just ignore you and they don't come back to give you any information, that's where it's worrisome. So you can see the chain from the university to the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And all these ministries will also have to get information from the Ministry of Health, from the health authorities, that the situation now is better. You guys can go ahead. Then the final stop now will be at the embassy, where you will go to get the visa. The embassy is only there also to receive orders that right now these students from this country can apply for visas. So guys, you can see, let's move to the next point. If you have any questions, okay, before we continue right now, I think if someone wants to come up to share something, we can start coming up now while I'm reading your comments. Will China open policy for students for all countries on 1st of August? There is this information about 1st of August that I see a lot of people talk about. Some authorities are saying mid-August. Some people are saying 1st of August is tomorrow. 1st of August is tomorrow. So, but there's one thing I would like you guys to bear in mind. From the mid-August, you guys will notice a lot of changes. Trust me about this. When this time comes, you can come back and say, you said this. From August 15 and above, you guys will receive a lot of changes about this issue. I'm saying this because I've followed up the trend. When some kind of people say something, when some top ministers or top authorities say something, take them for their words. It might not be all students, but the number of students will increase, by mid of August until the end of August, early September. Most students will be able to return. And if more students return by September, then by the end of this year, I'm sure that every student who was applied for this intake or who is an old student will be able to return to China. Okay, there are some two things that I also missed to talk about. The JW202 form will only be for new students. All students will get an invitation letter to return to China. This one does not come from the ministry. This invitation letter comes directly from the university. This one is the university that has authority to give this one. But they will also give this invitation to return based on the instruction of the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the health authorities. You will receive a letter that you will take to the embassy. And before you receive that letter, your name has already been sent to your embassy that this student is allowed to return. Okay, so I'm sure I'm clear on that point about the process of returning to China. If you have any question about the current situation in China, if you have any question about the process of returning to China, what happens when you receive your email, you can ask the question now before I move to our next talking point. Let's go down. Let's answer a few questions before I move to our next talking point. Our next talking point will be about why the economic and social situation in China and why are foreigners leaving China. That's going to be our next talking point. Someone is asking a question. Is there any chance China to abandon zero COVID strategy? There is very limited chance that China will abandon this policy. The time has passed when China was supposed to abandon this policy. The only thing that China can do now is to relax it a little bit. If you see the number of workers that China recruits every day, if you see the millions of COVID fighters that China recruits every day, if you see the number of new hospitals, new infrastructure that is going on, new technology that is coming up, new things that are coming up every day, then you will understand that this is a long fight. The country is not ready to abandon this struggle anytime soon because they are recruiting workers, millions of workers every day to do testing. Right now, we have to do COVID tests every day. I mean, like every single day, we have to do COVID test. And there are things that you cannot do if you don't have a 24-hour COVID test or a 48-hour COVID test. Just now, I'm from taking my test, and tomorrow it will be 24 hours. I have to go take it again. So you see that with all of this, you can see very clearly that China is not ready to abandon this policy anytime soon. And this is one of the points that I'm going to be talking about in my next talking point. Why are foreigners leaving China? So if you have any question, if you want to come up to share something, this is the link. You can come up to say something, to talk about your country, to talk about your situation of your embassy or university, or anything that you wish to share with us. Apart from that, now let's go to my next point. I have just about 20 minutes to talk to you guys, and then this thing will be over. Why if this year has been the highest year where in a very short period of time, a very high number of foreigners are leaving China. And the funny thing is that those who are living in China now are those who have been in China for a very long time, which means that they already have endured until they cannot endure anymore. Those who have been in China for maybe 1 year, most of them still think that maybe something will happen. But those who have been for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, they're mostly the ones that are leaving China now because they think that they've had enough. And the current economic situation in China, businesses are closing. The social life is that is the social life in China has completely been redesigned. People are now coming up with new kind of activities, like people who were mostly going out to the nightclub or going up to maybe to visit other cities. Now they're forced to do indoor activities or go to do picnics around, or just try to create a new kind of social environment. You cannot do a lot of things indoors anymore. So the outdoor life is what is making a name in China now. Like picnics, like going for hiking, like just go to the beach, or anything, or barbecues, or like anything that's outdoors. But what has completely started losing market in China now is restaurants, nightclubs, bars, and anything indoors. You see, these are the things that were really keeping foreigners in China: nightlife, restaurant, like indoor activities were one of the things that was really keeping people in China. But right now, the indoor life in China has completely changed. Now people are going outdoors to have their fun. So another thing that foreigners are leaving China now is because of the visa policies. Visa policies have taken another level now in China. To renew a visa now in China is not easy. The number of documents that you need, the number of checks they have to before you could just open a company and just go to another city and run your business and no one will check on you. But right now it's becoming very strict to create the company, to the taxes, the standard of living, everything is becoming very expensive in China. So these are some of the reasons why people are leaving. And also COVID has also come now. COVID is like and then also schools were closing. Language school, 80%, almost 70 to 80% of people who stay in China or foreigners in China are teachers. They teach English. So recently, most of the language schools have been closed, or their business strategy has changed. They can no longer provide some of the courses that they were usually providing, and their mode of operation has also completely changed. Even their mode of recruitment, their recruitment standard has completely changed. Not everyone could teach if you're not from a native speaking country. I mean, like a lot has happened in the educational industry. English is completely losing its value as it used to be, and a lot of Chinese who are coming from abroad, they're able to do the jobs that will only be done by foreigners. So you see that the English teaching market it's seriously losing its fame in China. So foreigners are being stranded. You cannot renew your visa, your life, maybe your salary. If your institution changes the mode of operation, they're going to lose students, they're going to lose money, so they're going to slash your salary, and your work conditions will become very strict. You will work more and earn less. And people who were earning maybe 40,000 RMB started earning 25,000 RMB, and this they could not more sustain the standard that they were in China before. So some of them just started giving up and leaving China. We thought that once people leave, it's going to create an opportunity for others, but things are still not really balanced. I had a job that I was supposed to start on Monday, tomorrow, but I just received an email that we are very sorry. This program has been cancelled or has been postponed to further notice. And that is how things happen in China now. You prepare for something, and just 2 days before the time, they're just going to tell you, "Oh, we are very sorry because of the policy in this city. This thing has been cancelled. Because of the policy here, this thing has been cancelled." So life in China now is very unstable. So if you're coming to China as a student, and you just want to teach, and you want to teach, just put that one at the back of your mind that it's not going to happen, or you will be risking it. It can happen, but you will be at a very high risk. But if you're coming purposely to study, also be ready that the student social life that used to be, has completely changed. Students don't really enjoy that social ambience, that social vibration that China used to have. Because right now, sometimes you will be locked within, you're able to go to class, but you will be locked within your university campus. You cannot go out of the university campus for several months. And if you have to go out of the university campus, you need to take permission. You need to tell them where you're going to. You need to tell them exactly how long you're going to be, and you make sure that the route that you tell them that you're going, come back from that same route. If you tell them I'm going to Beijing, I'll be there in 3 days. You must go to Beijing and tell them what are you going to do in Beijing. If it's not something that is very important, maybe you're going to renew your visa, maybe you're going for something important, maybe you're going for internship or for an interview, or something that the university thinks that it's important, you're not allowed to go. And if you go, and you're, because now they can track you from with your phone. Once you scan your code, it's going to tell everywhere that you've been to. And if you travel without letting them know, you're going to be in trouble. And even if you don't live on campus, before you travel, you have to still report to your teacher that you're traveling. So this is not only for students who live on campus. This is also for students who live off campus. Within, you have to remain within your city. You cannot go anywhere. You cannot enjoy life in China. You cannot really have fun. And sometimes even you live off campus, you still attend classes online. You cannot come into campus because they believe that students who live off campus, they're exposed to this to the community, so they can be infected. And when they come into the campus, they will also infect other students. So you stay off campus and still attend classes online. I'm not saying all this to discourage you. I'm saying all this to prepare your mind. So don't get me wrong. I'm saying this so that you should already have this in mind, so that if you're coming to China, know that this is what I'm coming to embrace. It's not something too bad, because people have still, it's like a chameleon that wherever you are, you can change your color. People are still making something out of nothing. Even within their communities, they are still bringing fun activities. They are still living life. That's why some people have decided that no matter what's happening in China, I'm not leaving, because everything is still fun. They can still create fun out of nothing. Even if people are not traveling, but they can still create fun out of nothing. So life in China is still very vibrant. It's still very good. People still enjoy their life. But there are just some people that are not tolerant enough. There are just some people that cannot tolerate that much. But all this is going to change, honestly, because the policies are being dampened every day. Right now, you can see a city will have 10 cases, 15 cases, 20 cases, and they are still a little bit slagging with the policies. But before one case, is you will just hear the ambulance every time. You will just be hearing the siren of the ambulance. Ooh, the whole city, they are going to catch someone, they're going to pick someone, they're going to take someone. But right now, even you see people are getting tired, people are getting fed up. I've been taken into quarantine 2 times, taken out of my home because someone was in my building that was infected, and they take all of us out to quarantine. When you see how even the Chinese people, when you see the way they chat on the WeChat groups, they're tired. They're like, just leave us alone. No one is dying of COVID anymore. So why are you? I mean, but the government still says no. Once it's COVID, it's COVID. We don't care if people are dying or not. If you've taken your vaccine, fine. Take your test every day, fine. But once there are cases, the city is still going to be shut down. But We are glad that the authorities are still assuring us that China is ready to open. They're still talking about the open policy. China is ready to open to the public. China is ready to open to the world. China is ready to open to international students. But nothing is being done concretely. I mean, we were supposed to be seeing that, okay, this month, this number of people have been able to return, or this category of people next month or next week. I mean, we wanted to see this change, but we just see latest. And I keep sharing to you guys that you guys should also see. Last time was the PM, the other time was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They keep saying China is working, China is doing this, but still we're not seeing anything concrete. But right now we're happy that these emails that universities are sending is a great sign that by mid of August to September, let's see what happens. So let's just keep our fingers closed from between now until the end of August. Let's just give the whole of August. You're going to see what is going to happen. If after August, if I personally, I don't see a substantial change that something has happened. If someone is watching me from Malaysia, please let me know. From Malaysia, please, if someone is watching me from Malaysia, I want to ask something here. If I have any student from Malaysia, let me know. Or if you know anyone that is, while I'm waiting for someone from Malaysia, let me read some comments. Quick question: what kind of COVID test do you do? The one where they poke the back of the nose? No, no, not the one of the, not the one. What we do now is just in the mouth. They just put it in your mouth, and it's the nucleic acid test. The one of the nose, man. I've been taken for quarantine twice, and one time they were doing the one. If they suspect a case, if they suspect you, or they suspect a case, because now what they do sometimes they will do in one cup, they're going to do about 5 people, because their resources sometimes are limited, so they cannot do one case in one tube. So sometimes they're going to do 5 people in one tube, 5 people in one tube. So in that one tube, if one person is infected, then they're going to catch all of the 5 people who were in that tube, and they're going to do a test for you, for all of you 5. So there was a time that in my tube, there was one person that was, I don't know if it was infected or not. So they took all 5 of us for quarantine. That time they had to do the nose one, man. And that nose one, I don't want to think about it. If I'm sure if they were doing the nose one, people would have, because the thing goes from your nose and reaches here, like it goes right in, and they'll do like this and pull it out. They didn't do that one. But if they do that one, nah, people will be crazy, because now you have to do tests every day. But if you go to the hospital, or if you're suspected, or if you're in a very close proximity with someone, they're going to do that one. Let me ask a question. Any idea why MOE China takes time to confirm the name list of students from different countries? I've been waiting for weeks now. Even the embassy is waiting for the reply of MOE. I said this at the beginning of my video. I don't know if you were watching, Shabibi, that the process is from the university to MOE to the MFA before to the embassy. These are the 4 people that are in the process. The university will prepare the name list, send it to the Minister of Education, MOE. MOE will prepare that same list and send it to MFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And Ministry of Foreign Affairs will now send it to the embassy. So you see the process. Maybe the name list is already at the level of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, now they will send it to the embassy. Once the embassy receives it, then the university will now post your JW202 form, and you can go for your visa. So you see the process. So how many weeks have you been waiting? If you've waited for only 2 weeks, just give 1 month. Let's see. So if from the time that you receive your email, give 1 month. If it's more than 1 month, then we can start thinking that maybe it's too much. Let's just say that the university will take 2 weeks to prepare the name list, and the MOE will take 1 week, and the MFA will take 1 week. So let's just say 1 month, because the university will take about 2 weeks to collect all the students' information and send it to the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education will take another 1 week, send it to the MFA 1 week, then now send it to the embassy. So let's just give 1 month. So once you receive your letter, give 1 month and let's see what's going to happen next. Thank you for the question. And let's see what someone is saying. Usman, do you think we can go back to China and fall semester? We have already responded to the willingness form. That is the same thing I've just been talking about. That September, let's give them 1 month. Let's give them the whole of August. I've just talked about this one, and there is hope. Honestly, there is hope. And let's see. Do you think the students for 2021 session can go to China in September? 2021 session, this will also depend on your university, because some universities are taking medical students from the old years. But at least let's say 2021 is the last year. 2022 students, maybe students who just got admission now, they'll be the last priority. So 2021, they might be the second to the last. Let's see what happens by the end of the year. These are my projections. These are just my own personal projections. But the first students will be students from 2020, 2021, depending on your program. If you're doing MBBS, maybe students from 2017, 2016, students who are about to graduate, they're going to be the first batch. But like I said, if there's someone from Malaysia, let the person let me know, because I heard that about 250 students from Malaysia will be returning to Shanghai on the 8th of August, 8th of next month. So I want to know if maybe there is someone who's watching me here who is amongst those 250 or 257 students from Malaysia, and they already have a chartered flight that has already been booked and they're returning. So if someone is watching from Malaysia, let me know. Why they are delaying in calling students? Oh, that's what we're just talking about right now. When will China open flights for Indians? This question, honestly, I can't answer. What about Indian students' arrival? The same question, honestly, I can't answer. Yes, my university already confirmed the name list and sent it to MOE. Yeah, they confirmed the name list and sent it to MOE, but now MOE has to send it to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MFA. MFA will confirm, and okay, so yes, 2 weeks now. 2 weeks now, you see, this is what I was just saying. I was just saying, I didn't know, I was just giving my estimate. If they have the university would take, say, 2 weeks to send to MOE. MOE would take 1 week and send it to MFA, and MFA will now send it to the embassy. So just give 1 month. If it's been 2 weeks, then give another 2 weeks. Let's see what happens after 2 weeks. These are just my projections. And I have contacted the embassy in my country and China, and they agree that I can travel to China. But the university did not allow until the university send formal letter to the student. Of course, you must receive a letter from your university. Even if the embassy say that you can return, the embassy is just saying their own what they know. But the tail person, the person who starts the process is the university, and the person who ends the process is still the university. And every time I talk to the university and send email, they just send me the same response. Students are not allowed to come to China without formal letter. Yeah, they're just gonna tell you this. I said the same thing at the beginning of my live stream, that the university cannot tell you what they don't know. They cannot give you any information if they're not sure of. This is the process. The information will come from the Minister of Foreign Affairs to the Minister of Education to the university. That is the process. And you know, China is a country of bureaucracy. China is a country of bureaucracy. So, okay, I'll be rounding up now. I'll give my last predictions and my last information based on what we have talked about. And if someone still wants to come on, we have this link. Someone might want to come up to talk. If not, it's fine. I'm glad that people are responding. People are asking questions. So the first thing, let me just give a rundown of what we talked about today, and let's see, at least if someone has had value in the text. So the first thing, I talked about the situation in China now, and I shared my screen, and you guys saw that China is still battling with different cities. Although the cases look, in the whole of China, we only have about 100 cases right now. Maybe some cities 10, 15, 20. but they're still considered high risk zones. Most of them are considered high risk. You've seen the number of high risk zones that are in China right now. Let me show you. I don't know if I'm still sharing my screen. Okay, I stopped the sharing, but you guys saw when I was showing you that we have over 700 and something high risk zones. We have let me see, 770 high risk zone and 464 medium risk zone, with 109 cases that was updated 2 days ago and 455 asymptomatic cases. So you can see that China is still struggling a little bit with the situation. It's not really stable as of now. Then, so I talked about the current situation in China. Then I also talked about the process of returning to China. You will receive email from your university. They will prepare the name list. They will send it to MOE. MOE will send it to MFA. MFA will send it to your embassy. Then your university will send your JW202 form or for new students and your invitation letter for all proof. The lesser will be the ticket. Are being okay, I'm back. So we'll actually talk about why foreigners are leaving China, and I shared a couple of things: visa policies, people life is the social life is not the same. Um, the the closing of language centers, and the COVID situation, and the change in the educational system, and a lot is happening. So if you're coming to China, know that you're coming to meet a completely different society, a completely different country. Life 3 years ago is very different from life right now. So I really want to thank you all for joining my live stream today. If you have not yet joined our WhatsApp group, please just go to my community timeline and you're going to see the link that I shared, and join the WhatsApp group because students share their information every day. You can make friends, but we don't want people to spam the group with a lot of messages, irrelevant messages. Just make friends, and if you want to add someone or ask something, depending on your country, on your university, just make, and this will just keep us motivated and keep us hopeful that by September a vast majority of students will be able to return to China. Once the vast majority returns, then the rest of the students will easily China. So also, and let's see what happens in 1 week. I'll do another team like this in 1 week time, and I will share updates. And within the week, if I have information, I will do a video or up my community post. And if you're watching me and you're not yet subscribed, please just consider to hit that subscription button so that we can always be together. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next stream. And bye bye.